Imagine waking up every Monday with new buyers, sellers, and even agents in your inbox, all from 3 simple pieces of content that you can control. Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing the 3-step content flywheel that I'm running in my own business to attract new opportunity my way that you can copy going into the week ahead. I'm going to share why it works, what the 3 steps are, and how you can put it into play. So the reason this whole strategy works is it's the best way that you could possibly build trust, especially if a lot of your contacts are starting off as cold connections, people that you have little to no connection with up to this point, such as a cold lead or even a referral from someone else that up to that point you didn't even know. Although referrals do help a lot building trust because you get to borrow the trust from whoever made that connection, but this is a way that you can build upon it with the value that you add yourself going forward. So the reason it works is we're making deposits of value. So I want you to think of every connection you make as something that goes into your relationship bank. But if all you ever do is add a contact, that's not necessarily that valuable. What's valuable is if that contract knows you, likes you, and trusts you. And so this is a process for building trust by making deposit after deposit after deposit of value without asking for anything whatsoever in return. The more you do that, the more they consume that value, the more that trust builds. And over time, that turns into deals as well as partners joining you if you're building your real estate team or even your own independent brokerage. But most of y'all are building a real estate production-based business. So put it in the context of attracting more buyers and sellers into your world and building a database of people who know you, like you, and trust you in your local market area. So with this approach, though, we have different content pieces that we're going to be utilizing, but every single one of them feeds the next. And like I mentioned, it works for building a production business. It also works for building an attraction business where you're attracting agents into your world. But step 1 is the weekly email newsletter. This is straight value add, no ask. The worst thing you could do is be salesy or make it look like an ad. It shouldn't be that. It should be 100% value, 100% education, informational, something entertaining even, but you want to have it going out the same day and time of day each and every single week. You want to make it something you don't miss without skipping a beat like clockwork every week, because it's going to act as the hub for everything else you're doing. It's going to act as a hub for video content, even some of the stuff that you otherwise will share on social media. But the format is very simple. We're going to start with a headline, something that gets people engaged, it captures their attention. And then in the actual message itself, we're gonna have a link to your featured video of the week, front and center in the newsletter with the play button. Underneath that, we're gonna have a quick insight on what's going on with the local market. And it doesn't even need to pertain to real estate. It's okay if it does, but it could just be something happening in the local community, something that people who live in the local community would like to know more about. And then a simple sign off. So all straight to the point, all value. The more value you can pack in that short email, the better. Put yourself in the shoes of someone who lives in your local market. What would you want to see? What would you actually find valuable? What would be insightful if all you did was live in the community? You weren't even thinking about moving, but what would make you a valuable resource for that connection? That's the frame of mind to think of this in. Because the whole point is that you're staying top of mind, but every time they see your name, it's associated with value, not an ask, not a pitch, none of that. And what you want to achieve by sending this out to a good email list of correct emails is you want to achieve a 30% plus open rate. And then once you're doing that consistently week after week after week, you want to add another piece of value at some point midweek or even on the weekend, something that's not necessarily a newsletter, but teach something. Like think of like a great social media caption where you share information that's applicable to your target market, but it's straight up value add. That could go out in the form of an email every week with no images, no ask or anything, just something that's helpful insight for someone in your target market. So you want to keep track though with the weekly email, starting with the 1 email a week, track the open rates, the clicks, and the replies. You want a place where you can see this all in a single dashboard. And I would recommend starting your weekly newsletter as soon as you have 50 or more contacts in your database that you could go off of, that are correct emails that have given you permission to send them an email. So anyone up to this point who's given you permission to email them, you can start there. Step 2 of the content flywheel is a weekly YouTube video upload. One video every week, 5 to 10 minutes long. You want to build up consistency, make it same time and day of the week. It can be a different day and time than your weekly email, to be clear. And I'm going to give you a 7-day workflow for this one specifically that's going to help make your life easier and help you actually get the process started. And you want to think of your channel as a place where you could have different buckets of content. So for instance, one of your bucket could be market Q&A. What questions do people in your target market actually have? Like, what are the most common questions you're getting from people you're working with? That can be a video. So Q&A about the marketplace or what's going on in the market. It can be something related to buying, selling. So buyer's guide, seller's guide. You could put that in the form of a video you record. It could be a look behind the scenes. So almost like you're doing a vlog or a day in the life. Document some of the process on what you're working on throughout the day or the week. Literally, if you do that, you're not even creating new content. You're just documenting what it is you're already doing. Share examples of how you're getting people results. Walk through a scenario of how you negotiated a certain deal, got the price down to a certain point, and got the seller to cover this, that, and the other. Share the stories behind the best deals that you're working and negotiating, and share those examples of how you're getting real results in your market area. That will go such a long way. But those are just some ideas of the different content buckets you can have. I mean, if all that sounds too complicated, I'll give you an easy one. Go and tour a new model home. Do a video walkthrough of it, record the walkthrough on video in a new builder model home, and upload that to YouTube. It's the simplest thing you could possibly do. But you gotta get started somewhere. So here's the workflow though. To break it down, here's your 7-day workflow. No, actually, let's make it 5 days. We'll make it simple. So day 1 is your outline and script. So set aside some time, 30 minutes to an hour, and think through your ideas and start to create a content outline for it. Best part is you could use ChatGPT or any your preferred AI tool to help you with this. If you give it some input as far as what idea you have and what you want it to help you create, it will help you create exactly what you have in mind. Day 2 is to actually shoot and film the content. So take that script or outline, if you have 1, 2, 3, however many you did. Next day, go and record the actual videos. Day 3 is to edit the video and create a thumbnail. For the edit, you can use any video editing platform you have on your computer, even your phone. Piece it together, and let's use the property tour for example. If it's a tour of the model home, all you need on top of that is an intro and outro. The tour should be one shot. Don't put it 100 pieces together. Literally make the tour one shot, solid shot throughout the home, starting from the front, going in, going around all the areas. It should be 5 to 10 minutes. Add an intro of you talking, out an outro of you talking. Answer simple questions the viewer will have, like, okay, what are we looking at today? Where's this located? How big is it? Any interesting facts about the builder? What about, the programs? Are there any special programs available that might be a good reason for them to contact you so that they have the most current insight and information on that, on how they could save money and get into one of these homes for less dollars out of their pocket? Stuff like that. That's what you would say in the intro and outro. Stuff that you would want to convey, like give your elevator pitch on someone, why they should get in touch with you if they're serious about making something happen. That's day 3, is to piece it all together, edit the video, make sure you have a solid thumbnail. I like to take a picture of the front of the home, do a quick HDR edit to bring out the colors and brightness, and then that's your thumbnail right there. Day 4 is to schedule the upload. So go schedule a day and time, have a goal of it being the same day and time each week. That way you'll train anyone who's subscribing to you that you have a new video coming out pick your day and time. And then day 5 is add the link to your newsletter. So you can have that done ahead of time, have it front and center in your newsletter. And so that's your 5-day plan as far as how, that's your workflow, as far as how you can integrate this into your weekly schedule as far as what you do to move the needle for your business. You're going to want to track views, watch time, and subscribers, although honestly subscribers is not as important as most people think. To me, the bigger thing is watch time. That's the number one metric I look at, that and audience retention. But to keep it simple, start to get to know your numbers. And now step 3 of the content flywheel is your daily social media post. And this is a lot simpler than most people think it is. And it's literally as simple as making 1 written post per day at minimum. And you know what? While you're at it, add a picture to it. So I'm saying a picture and a caption. If you want to go and be above and beyond, some days you might do a carousel, a few different pictures. Other days you might do a short form video like a reel. But I want you to make bare minimum 1 post per day on Instagram and Facebook. Don't overcomplicate it. The most important thing is it should be authentic. It should be authentic to you. I don't want you to have AI write all your content for you. I don't want you to have all these AI generated images. Don't do that. Use real pictures, use real things on your mind. And the goal with it is your content should achieve one of 3 things. It should educate people, it should entertain people, or it should impact people and your target audience. It shouldn't be salesy. It should be rare that you ever have any post that comes off as salesy. It should be straight value add, deposits. The closest thing I even covered in this whole video so far that might have sounded salesy was the intro or outro to the video. But what that really is a call to action. You gotta have a compelling call to action in your video content, because if you don't, people won't even know that they could reach out to you. They'll think you're too busy. You gotta give them permission to reach out in your videos. But with your post, just make deposits. Some content ideas for your social media, share client wins, share insights into conversations you've had, behind the scenes, things you're actually doing and working on that are driving results, things that you're learning, programs that are available, what's going on in the market, just insights. Like, that's the biggest thing. And captions, just keep it real. Don't over curate anything. You don't gotta have it perfectly polished. In fact, even if you did and put the time into it, something that's raw and authentic is gonna tend to outperform something that's overly polished, looks super professional. Because part of what people resonate with on social media is that it's real, it's authentic. It's not just some big company curating all this stuff, and that's people actually resonate the most with and respond to. So it's okay if your stuff's not perfect. It's okay if there's flaws in it. It's okay if your captions verbiage isn't perfect. So don't make it too polished, and just please, whatever you do, don't just post AI generated images. Post real stuff that you took with your actual camera, phone, and stuff. It doesn't even have to be overly related with what the post is about. You can have a visual that's a picture you took at some point throughout the week, and you can share your thoughts and ideas and make a caption on that sometimes it's related, sometimes it's not. There's not necessarily a rule with it in terms of that. If you're using Facebook as your go-to platform, you can prune your Facebook friends list if you're capped on friends. So if you hit your 5,000 limit, think of it like this. Start to remove people who are not a part of your target client market and add those who are. And the more you do that, the more you're actually going to train the platform where it's going to start recommending more people to you that are your ideal clients. But track, as you're starting to post daily, track comments, DMs, and shares. Basically reach out, so that's the key. But it's happening because you're top of mind and you're providing value. And that's the big key I want you to understand, is the more value you post, there's never a point where you can post too much if it's actually valuable. So don't worry about posting too often. I promise you, posting every single day is very far from being too often, especially if there's value in what it is you're actually posting. And I wouldn't even gauge that by how many likes you get. I would gauge that by how many people are actually seeing your stuff, whether they like it or not. And how can we fuel this flywheel here? Because there is some fuel we can pour onto it as a baseline. We want to do step 1, 2, and 3, but what else can we do if we want to bring more contacts into our world that could potentially even be seeing the content we're putting out? Well, you could create a lead magnet. So that would be a simple guide checklist or something to help people in your target market that they could download, that they could get sent to them if you have their email. So that's one thing. Another thing you can do is you can run lead ads, literally $10 a day on Facebook or Instagram. You could draw a radius around an area locally, a zip code, 15-mile radius around, and you can run that guide. I mean, shoot, you can run the lead magnet on a lead ad and collect emails that way. That's one thing you could do. And every new contact, you want to add them to your newsletter list, and ideally track if it's being delivered or not. You want to weed out the emails that are not deliverable and don't keep sending to them, because it's going to hurt your deliverability. But that might be for another video, the more details on that. But you want a healthy email list. You want to be sending it to emails that are actually correct emails. But then you can also sprinkle in calls to action. So CTAs, every now and then, you don't overly use them, but think of it like 90-10, just about, meaning about 9/10 of the time, 8 to 9/10 of the time, it's straight value add, no call to action whatsoever. And then every so often, if 10% of the time you're putting a call to action in, that's perfectly fine. Hey, book a call with me here, register for this, download this guide. Those are examples of call to actions, but something that's compelling for someone that's in your target market who could really utilize a next step, giving them a next step that they could take in that situation. Now, here's your 90-day action plan to implement everything I just shared. We're gonna break it all down and give you some steps to follow. So 90-day action plan is Monday, or day one. Draft your newsletter following the formula I shared here and outline your video for the week. Set aside 2 hours. Your first time doing it, set aside 2 hours. I know it's a big ask, but over time you're going to be able to do it quicker and quicker and quicker, and you're not going to need 2 hours to do it. Day two, or Tuesday if you want, shoot a video. So you're going to record the video based on your outline. You're going to batch uploads if possible. If you did more than one video during the time, batch your uploads so that you have the following weeks scheduled as well. So stagger them a week out from each other. And then the third day, you're going to edit, and I kind of got my head ahead of myself on day two, but edit your video, and then you're going to schedule your YouTube video and your email. So day two is shooting the video, day three is editing the video and scheduling, and day four is batch your 7 social media posts. And here's the trick. I mean, you got two options. You can either be disciplined enough to do it every day, or you can have a day that you take your top 7 ideas from the past week and put it into a piece of content, and then batch upload those 7 social media posts where they're scheduled to post each respective day. And then the 5th day, launch your first lead magnet ad. Take a buyer's guide, a seller's guide, something of value that you have, put it out there as a lead magnet. If you want to run that as an ad campaign, go ahead and put some spin behind it and have it targeted towards people in your local market that might resonate with it. That way you can collect the email and start building your email list. But the biggest key to really making this go far is you gotta have something that you're doing every single week to build your email list around people in your target market area. Because if you don't, that part won't be growing. But so you want your email list to be growing. You want the amount of people seeing your emails every single week to grow based on what you're doing to generate new contacts for your email. And then the other places, I mean, you're going to generate new watchers from some of the organic reach from YouTube, and you're going to generate some new eyes on your social media based on the people you're connecting with there. So it kind of all works hand in hand, like I said, especially because you're leveraging the video for your newsletter, email distribution. You're using some ideas that you had from one place to another. You can repurpose, depending on what you put in your email, you can repurpose certain things to a shorter piece of content from it in written form if it's valuable. So rinse and repeat this process weekly. Review your KPIs every 30 days. So those are the metrics we were tracking for each of these pieces. And what I'll leave you with is, if you run this flywheel for the next 90 days, you'll get to a point where you're never going to ask where your next deal is coming from, or even where your next agent partner is coming from if that's your target market. If you want more tips and insights as to how I'm implementing this and key aspects that are working best for me, you're going to want to check out the description below and get on my email list. So I'll have a link in the description. If you give me your email in exchange, I will give you key tips and insights, 100% value add for things that will actually help you move the needle forward in your business. I'll never ask you for anything. I'll only give deposits, and maybe one day you'll ask me for how we could do something bigger together. That's my approach. I'm literally doing what it is I share on this video. So that's my game plan. That's my strategy. That's what I'm working on. It's incredible the results I'm seeing from it. So I hope that you go and implement it as well in your business and see what happens in the next 90 days as a result. So if you got value out of the video, show some love, drop a comment. Hopefully I'll see you next time. So go and implement it though. That's the only way it's going to make a difference. So that's the content flywheel. And until next time, I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.